Guys. Well, now I am live. I guess I was muted. Now I'm not muted. Thanks for letting me know. Anyway, all right. Well, I just did my monologue. I could do it again though. It's no problem. I'm very good at this stuff. So, we have a great day in the news. There's a lot going on. I'm going to jump right into it. Okay, we have a lot of news coming out. The Secret Service as well as the FBI is under fire for reports that are coming out like this. Take a listen to this.
Knew about the shooter minutes before Donald Trump took the stage. For more, we want to go to Aisha because there was a briefing today. You got some information about what happened, Aisha?
Dana, good afternoon to you. We just got a big information dump, and some of it is deeply, deeply troubling. So I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through this. Just bear with me here. A lot of notes that I'm going to look at here. Just about a couple minutes ago, the senators came out of this briefing with Secret Service. They've been asking for it for days now. Finally got it with the director and Secret Service staff. And the top headline that has come out of it, according to Senator John Barrasso, just spoke to him as soon as he hung up on this briefing. He said that apparently, the Secret Service had identified as a character of suspicion this man, this shooter, because they saw a rangefinder on him as well as a backpack. And this all happened more than an hour before the shooting actually occurred. So they saw the guy and they identified this guy as suspicious. Now, more details coming from a source familiar here who was also in the meeting tells me that about 10 minutes before former President Trump went onto the stage, they had gone from looking at this guy as suspicious to now looking at him as a threat. That is coming from this briefing that the senators were in. They were told that Secret Service had called it in to a center that this guy they now identified as a threat about 10 minutes before President Trump walked on stage, and they still allowed him to walk onto that stage. I'm told the Secret Service agent in charge there was on the phone with local and state police about the threat while the shooting was taking place. That's huge. And that is raising a lot of concerns and now major calls for the director of the Secret Service to step down immediately. Minority Leader, GOP Leader Mitch McConnell just tweeted that he wants her to step down. Several senators that came out of this briefing want her to step down immediately. Another little nugget of information that came out of it that is interesting here is that they still.
So, guys, that's how can this happen? How can this happen? That's really what we need to ask ourselves is how can something like this happen? A word from our one of our sponsors here, Vigil Anti watches. Beautiful timepieces. Unbelievable. Anyway, Vigil Anti watches, guys, make sure to check them out. Vigil Anti watches, beautiful timepieces. Go to Vigil Anti or Coin Vigilante. Sorry, Coin Vigilante. Go to coinvigilante.com. Use the impact money. You know how we roll. Use the impact money discount there and get 10%. Use impact money discount code to get 10% off on your Coin Vigilante watches. Make sure to support the people who support us. All right. So the other thing that, of course, has been coming out is that let me see here. This was the search that'll pull this up. Well, of course, this was interesting too. This was
if there had some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem. But I made a serious mistake in the whole debate. And look, when I originally ran, you may remember it, I said I was going to be a transitional candidate. And I thought that I'd be able to move from this, just pass it on to someone else. But I didn't anticipate things getting so divided. And quite frankly, I think the only thing age brings a little bit of wisdom. And I think I've demonstrated that I know how to get things done for the country, in spite of the fact that we're told we couldn't get it done. But there's more to do, and I'm reluctant to walk away from that. If there had some medical condition that emerged.
So, I mean, there you see he is laying the groundwork.
But I made a serious mistake
for
in the whole debate.
Laying the groundwork to step down right there. So and then he of course says, I am going to step down, or no, then he starts asking his advisors if they think that Kamala can win, and on and on and on. And then he's got COVID. That is like the next thing they say. Oh, he has COVID. So, and I call him Old Sleepy on my X account more because people will mute different words. And so if you're talking about Joe Biden or you're talking about this, or you're talking about that, they'll just mute certain words. And I get that. And so I try to get past their things. We do have quite a few people that are getting these Tangem wallets. So I just wanted to bring these up again. I've gotten some good feedback on these Tangem wallets. I might play an interview with these guys, but these are tangem.com. They're hardware wallets, really nice wallets, nice price point, $50 or $60. You can get 2 or 3 cards, and they're adding a Visa card, and you can trade, and you do all this stuff. So make sure to use Impact Money as your discount code to get a 10% discount on that. Slim as a bank card, secure as a bank vault, store, buy, earn, transfer, and swap thousands of coins and tokens. So check them out. Now we have my friend here, the great Matt Dixon. Matt, it is a hard day. I can tell you my computer's having a hard time with the internet too, but it seems to be okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what the problem is. The internet's connected, but it's not connecting for streaming and for some of the social media. I've got my charts, but unfortunately,
you're probably on some type of a network there. They have it blocked. I was on a government network the other day, and they wouldn't let me get on X, and they also wouldn't let. I went over to YouTube just to see what our videos look like, and the show that we did where I really talked about the different videos, and we looked at all the videos of the assassination attempt, they had that one. It was totally missing. You couldn't find it. And is that interesting? Well, it'll just keep we don't have to just kind of keep it short, get the temperature of the market and everything. I still thought it would be great to, and thanks for joining.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me again. Yeah, I mean, the markets are progressing quite nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching Bitcoin, and again, shame I can't share the chart with you, but we had a clear wave 1 higher leading diagonal.
Yep.
And a wave 2 correction. Then wave 3 was precisely to the penny, 1.618. And we're always talking about this golden ratio. We talked about Elliott wave and Fibonacci yesterday, and it's just how the markets adhere to it so tightly. It's really encouraging because, then we should get a wave 4 correction, which we're actually in at the moment.
Yep.
Very modest sideways correction. Then we should push higher. And I don't think there's really anything stopping us in the coming weeks going to new all-time highs, well into new all-time high. So we've got Ethereum coming, haven't we, with the ETF? I understand it's the 23rd, so it's only going to be next week, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ethereum ETF should open the floodgates once again to more money flowing into crypto. So it's probably a good thing, although I'm not, I have asked the question before whether this institutional adoption is a good thing. I mean, crypto has been for the people. and it's provided opportunity for the people. And once institutions get involved and they tend to control the markets a lot more, maybe it's taking away some of that opportunity. So it's a bittersweet pill. I'm not quite sure whether it's good or bad.
I know. It is one of those things. It's more money in, but it's also more control. It's always the trade-off, isn't it? You can make more money, but it usually does come with more control, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And, we've seen what control does for the markets, with the traditional markets, with the US dollar and the way they're supposedly controlling that and just printing it. We've talked about it so many times, but we're getting closer, aren't we, to lowering interest rates again. Now, if lowering interest rates doesn't do the trick, because the economy is beginning to sputter a little bit now, if that doesn't do the trick, then it's going to go back to more money printing yet again. And I suspect that will probably come early next year. We'll see.
They're definitely going to do it. I mean, well, you see already. I don't know. Bank of Japan. They're going to print up a bunch more money. Obviously, China. The Bank of China has been printing a lot of money. So I think that we're probably printing money even that people aren't talking about. Certainly, we're about to get hit with another big spending bill. I mean, all the pieces are being put in place for that. And of course, trying to blame the assassination attempt on Iran. I mean, it was laughable to everybody. But when things start happening politically, it's like the tide. It really is like the tide. It's interesting because I'm doing a play with my daughters, another play. We're doing The Sound of Music, and I'm sure you're familiar with The Sound of Music. And it's almost been therapeutic for me because you have the guy Max, and Max is like, he's trying to talk some sense, quote unquote, into the captain, the father, and he's like, I can tell you, whatever is going to happen, nothing that you do is going to change it. And it's kind of like, it doesn't mean you have to, go join the Third Reich, but there does have to be some understanding that things are, one person can change the world and all those things, but the tide is the tide, and it still comes in and it still goes out. And there's
a battle going on between the old school kind of thing and democracy, freedom. There's a lot more freedom and democracy really than there used to be, and people are enjoying that and trying to exercise that. And yet the old school, they don't want to let go of the reins of power.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, I know you're there in the EU, and then we'll hop right back in the markets. I know we have a short time, but I was just reading a report, and I guess you're not in the EU, but you're still there in Europe, that now they're pushing to get an army. Of course, they've been pushing to get an army anyway, but this woman who's the head of the EU, she is now running on as like one of the selling points. Again, I think that was her thing before. Do you think they'll get it?
I mean, that's worrying. I do believe they will get it.
I agree.
They vowed, Germany was supposed after the Second World War that was never going to happen. And now it's going to happen as as Europe. It's interesting, just a slightly funny story. England lost against Spain the other day in the Euro football. And people were saying how terrible it was. And just for me, we're not even part of Europe anymore. How can we be playing in the Euros? Maybe it's just appropriate that England didn't win. It's just, yeah.
That is funny. Well, I know everybody over there, they love their soccer or football, however you guys call it over there.
Football is the big sport over here. So we're different to America. Soccer's not, as you call it, soccer's not quite such a big thing in America, is it? But over here, it's almost a religion for people.
It is. It's like a religion. It's like ice hockey in Canada.
Yeah. And you used to be you're an ice skater, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I played hockey all growing up. I always loved hockey. And then I dislocated my shoulder a bunch of times, had surgery, started ice dancing, and went around the world ice dancing. I had a great time. Girls were real pretty. No complaint.
Brilliant. Anyway, just jumping back to the market. So just XRP, we've had a bit of a pullback today, 8.5%. And that was off the back of some news that I think they're just saying they don't know when the SEC is going to rule on XRP. So XRP took, a hard sell-off there, 8.5% today, just off the back of that news. Whereas most other cryptos, I mean, Bitcoin, for example, is up 0.8%, Ethereum up 1.6%, Litecoin up 0.99%. And as I say, that big sell-off for XRP, I mean, it's had a really good run, and I don't think this should really have a major effect. The fact that the SEC, are delaying. I think the SEC are actually beginning to turn a little bit. So they were totally negative. They were kind of, emasculated crypto really with what they were trying to do, but they've now coming around a lot more, and we've got the ETFs, of course. So I think that we may actually get a favourable decision eventually out of the SEC on XRP. So whilst not knowing when the decision is going to be, I think longer term it's probably going to be positive. So I've heard some not so good things about XRP, but it's still that crypto that you don't want to be left holding short at all, because it can just take off. And as we said yesterday, it took off from 38 cents all the way to 63 cents. So 25, that was a massive move that we had. So it's actually right for a bit of so probably a good thing. Saw a bit of a pullback on the SPX, the S&P 500. That was actually pity you can't see the chart once again, but we had some perfect regular bearish divergence. So that was actually right at the top of the market at 5,673. We got this regular bearish divergence, which told us there's going to be a sell-off. So from 5,674, we're now 5,605. So it sold off, 70 points basically. So that's probably, correction is probably still going to go on a little bit longer, but we're still going to get new all-time highs, I think. And it's a little bit like gold. We've said, gold is continuing to bounce around, but it's still going to push again. We had all-time highs yesterday, a little bit of a pullback. We may just have a bit more of a pullback just as an ABC correction, but I think we're going to push once again to new all-time highs on gold. So all of these assets, it's just a healthy bit of a correction, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. As long as nothing major happens, I'll tell you what, it was pretty interesting as well. And we won't talk about it right now. I have you on there, but big short. It was a major short put in the Trump media stock right before this attempted thing. So, I mean, barring that, I mean, a black swan event, I think the markets look pretty healthy, and this looks corrective.
So sorry, you're saying there's a short in the Trump media because Trump media pumped hard, didn't it, on that failed assassination attempt? So
well, yeah, but it would have tanked. So this one Austin Financial, this one company, they obviously, I mean, everybody's saying they obviously knew, right? I mean, obviously they knew. They entered. They didn't do any trading all year. They entered in this massive short.
It's amazing inside information. I'm just reading a book called The Black Edge. I think it's called Black Edge, about Steve Cohen and his empire with SAC, the hedge fund. And it's just interesting about, clearly if someone shorted in a big way, I'm guessing they must have had inside information. So there needs to be some investigation there because it's
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been saying. Like, we can't just like, oh, okay. So, and then they're like, oh, there was one guy that didn't show up, and that's why the roof wasn't, taken care of. Well, guys, we can't just be like, oh, wow. Well, that's what happened. No, we got to that guy obviously needs to be taken in. We need to talk to him thoroughly. We need to see who he's connected to. All these people who shorted this major short, how did that happen? We need answers. We can't just have this go into a JFK situation and go right into the next news cycle. But rough.
They must have got their fingers burned because the stock absolutely pumped, didn't it?
Well, the interesting part is that the guy was saying is that they were able to. He doesn't see the sell where they sold and exited. It just appears that it was taken off. So he was asking regulators how that happened, and nobody had a good answer. So they might be even more inside than anybody wants to admit.
I'm just having a quick look at the chart now. Whoops, there we go. Yeah, just to see what happened with it.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, you can see a gap higher. It's actually gapped, the market gapped. So that meant there was no actual trading. There were no trades in there. It just jumped higher, massively higher. So it jumped from a price of $31 and it jumped straight to $46. So that was more than 50% jump in price.
Whew.
That was on that news of the failed assassination attempt. 50%, basically a gap in the market. So if you were holding the stock, even now it's still a lot higher than it was, because before the news it's $31. Even right now it's $36. So still a good premium. But yeah, if someone shorted from the top, even I don't know quite where they shorted. So it'd be interesting. There needs to be an investigation, because clearly someone knows something that other people don't.
There was a bunch of companies that shorted. Right before October 7th or whatever it was as well, and nobody ever investigated it. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's a mess.
A lot of that was Hezbollah themselves shorting the market because they knew what
Might
was
have
going
been. So then, all right, it was Hezbollah, but we need to know. We need to know who. You know what I mean? And it's hard to hold those guys accountable, I guess. Anyway, I guess they get held accountable in a different way.
Yeah, and it's just annoying. They go after the easy targets, the ordinary people.
Yeah, like the small mom and pop guy, makes like a couple $1,000,000, finally gets ahead. They go after him, boom, and then like these anyway, exactly like you said, exactly.
Yeah, and you say a couple of $1,000,000. I mean, that's that's still a decent amount of money. But even just the small ones, $10,000, $10,000, something like that. And the regulators go after them to want to find out source of funds, this, that, and the other. Whereas the ones arms, multi-millions or even billions, they just seem to get away. So,
Yep, it's true.
So yeah, I am all for an investigation there. So I did mention RLB, another token I mentioned that was set for a pump. I mentioned it right down at $7. It's now $9 something. And I featured it in advance on my X feed, so nobody can say I'm posting.
RLB, that's Rollbit. I remember you mentioning it as well yesterday. Talking about, or the day before.
So it's got somewhat higher to go as well. So I'm still following that one. And of course, Solana, wherever that's gone, has been pumping beautifully. We've had a little bit of a pullback, but it's still looking as though it's pushing higher. So I think that the market, just to I always like to give a summary of my feelings for the market. I think this is all just corrective at the moment. Bitcoin is leading the way. As I say, we had a perfect wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, just in wave 4 now. So we're very soon going to enter wave 5 to the upside. We will then get a bit of a pullback, sort of medium term, but then we will head once again to new highs. So that's when we're going to attack the new all-time high for Bitcoin and for many other cryptos. Some of them won't be reaching all-time highs, but they will be pushing a lot higher. So I think it won't be a long time before we're targeting 210 on Solana, $210. And then we'll probably get a bit of a pullback, but then it will attack the all-time high of 260. I think that the correction in XRP, again, is just a correction. So all of the things at the moment are just a correction. And it was really given us really well remember I said about the cryptos were pushing higher against overhead resistance, whereas dollar index was pushing lower against underlying support. Now, we didn't break that support. We've actually had 3 tests of support at the moment, 3 separate tests separated by a few hours. So support on dollar index. And that was, again, a Fibonacci thing, 100% extension of the previous wave down. And that is what's holding the markets at the moment. So this testing 3 times, it's basically corresponds with a wave 4 in the crypto and risk asset markets. But we will, I believe, break that support. So every time you test a support, you weaken that support, you erode it a little bit, and then we're going to get a breakdown of the dollar. So we're probably going to get some more news. We had some news out of Fed Chair Powell. He came out in his last speech saying that they're basically, that it may be appropriate to lower interest rates soon to stimulate the economy and keep things moving. So he's starting to soften, get more dovish. So that's why we saw the dollar weakness. And we're going to see more dollar weakness, especially when we get the news coming out. And I think it won't be a long time now until we get the next interest rate. I'll have to have a look what the date is for that. for the next interest rate decision, the press commentary that goes with that, and the Fed chair's commentary will probably give us more indication of when that first rate drop is going to be, because that's going to be a big turning point, a big boost for the markets, I think. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll look for that for tomorrow. Hopefully get all my internet sorted out by tomorrow for tomorrow's show.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's it's good stuff. I think it'll be it's going to be good for the markets. It's going to be bad for inflation, but it'll be good for the markets.
Yeah, I mean, inflation, I think, is actually, I know we're always talking about how people have suffered inflation. They have suffered inflation. Inflation has been really bad, and it's put ordinary people under severe pressure. But I do think that inflation is right now under control. And I look at this measure called Trueflation, which is an independent measure of inflation, looks at a lot more data, and I believe it's a lot more accurate. And what it says was that actually when they were saying inflation was 8% or whatever, they actually vastly, grossly underestimated, this is the government, grossly underestimated the real level of inflation. And that bears out what you're saying about the prices of everything going sky high. So this Trueflation, it says the government grossly underestimated the level of inflation, but now inflation has fallen quite a bit. The government is now overestimating the level of inflation, and in fact, Trueflation is saying the rate is 1.8% or thereabouts, which would mean that we should actually already be lowering interest rates. So the government are once again lagging, as they always do, and they're like a big tanker ship, takes them a long time to turn. By the time they're lowering interest rates, it's going to be a little bit too late. The economy is going to be suffering, and they should be acting now. Hopefully, Fed Chair Powell is beginning to realize that with his softening stance. But they should perhaps look at more independent analysis. I don't understand why the government are not getting the best analysis that they can do, because money is no object to them.
Yeah, that's true. It's well, I think a lot of it has to do with as well how much money they want to print up. I think they play that in. But yeah, it's funny. So it is Fed Speak Week. This is their whole week. It's their big thing. They're in their hate right now.
You're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is about wanting to print more money, because we do know that money printing goes into the hands of the wealthy, the top people in the who supposedly run the economy. It goes into their pockets, not the poor people or the ordinary people, I should say, probably.
Right.
Doesn't go into their pockets. So yeah, if they can print more money goes into their pockets. It actually allows them, when asset prices do fall, they have the money available to pick up those assets at rock bottom prices. So they actually benefit both ends of the spectrum. When there's free money printing, they're accumulating, and then when the prices of everything drop and people are suffering and selling, and there's capitulation in the markets, then they start picking up all these assets at rock bottom prices. So this is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
It's true. And every time they print up, what interest rates are at 5% right now. So every time they print up more money, they're getting at 5%. That's a great mark. That's a great mark.
Yeah.
So, anyway, very good.
Good. Every asset I'm looking at, we appear to be in some kind of wave 4 correction, by the way. So I do think that probably by the weekend we'll start to see this wave 5 to the upside. So we'll see a good further pump in risk assets. So now might be an area to think about, just dabbling a little bit. We're always talking about DCA. Just dabble a little bit, and maybe DCA a little bit more into some of these assets. It may be a good little opportunity to take a nice little profit out of the market.
Nice.
Good.
All
well,
right.
So I'll go and sort out this internet problem, and hopefully look forward to getting back tomorrow with a full show and full charts to show you where we're at.
Awesome. Well, enjoy. Appreciate you coming on via mobile, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye for now.
Cheers. So the markets are, they're very emotional. as we always talk about, the markets are emotional. We have emotional markets, and as Matt always says, the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. And so there are certain things that we do. We talked a lot about it yesterday about the Elliott wave theory that we use in order to predict where the market's going to go. It's not 100%, but there's 95% of people that trade lose. And so actually markets are really designed in order to take liquidity from the masses. You want to be in that 5% that wins. And if you're in that 5% that wins, you have a great way that you can earn money and support your family and all these things. So there is quite a bit to talk about here. I wanted to as well talk about what's going on with this. Okay. Here we go. Hold on. I know you can still hear me. Let me just play something here. And then that will help us. Let's see here. Dog or flower. So dog or flower. This is a pretty cool one here. While I'm sorting out my camera, I am going to share this. Dog or flower. Wait. Here we go. Boom. Dog or flower. Check this out here. So this is a dog or flower. It's this new meme coin on TON that I have kind of become a little bit enthralled about. The TON ecosystem. We've talked a lot about the TON ecosystem, and it's pretty cool. Dog or flower. The trading symbol is OR. Dollar or. Let's see if this has sound. No. Dog or flower. Let me just put this up here. Dog or flower on TON trades as or. So this has the potential. Dog or flower on TON trades as or. It has the potential to be kind of the Doge coin or the doggy coin of TON. And TON, I think, as I showed you the other day, it's like number yeah. Anyway, I am long, full disclosure, not financial advice and all that stuff. Had some fun. I did talk about them. Had some fun on the Impact Money Show with or. I know. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about what is going on, and I know we just mentioned it with this, with them shorting the market. What's going on? How in the world can Austin Private Wealth short the market Massive short. Massive short. Let me just pull up that tab here. I got it right here. This is the Austin. This is it. Share this one. The Austin financial team behind the Austin Private Wealth. Here we are. So, oh wow, a group of dedicated professionals who adhere to acceptance and inclusion. So hold on. Yes, the usual suspects. Looks like Allison Cass Orla. And then we have Kyle Cook, Ingrid Carasso, Ken Daly, Mackenzie Decker, Raul Celerier, and Melissa Clark. Now, these people entered in a massive short. Here's the more information on it. And this was called, I was actually following this, and then this guy here, Champagne Joshi, put up a little bit more information. A company called Austin Private LLC shorted 12 million shares of DJT, Donald J. Trump Media, via a put option. The filing date was July 12th. Remember, the assassination attempt was on the 13th. The day before the assassination attempt, they have around $1 billion in assets under management, and this is by far the largest put placed. According to a source, the trade represents 6% of total shares and over 16% of the float of the stock, given the fact that Trump owns 60% of the company. This is a giant bet when you consider their total AUM, but wait, there's more. Now, they had not really traded, from what I understand, all year, rather. To make things even more interesting, my source tipped me off with the two images from their Bloomberg terminal. The screenshots on the left show the put by Austin Private Wealth, LLC, that was taken earlier this month. It shows 120,000 puts. As you can see, their position is by far the largest. The next closest is Citadel Advisors with 16,770. Here's where it gets interesting. The screenshot to the right was taken later in the day. Austin Private Wealth LLC is nowhere to be found. Why? And then this kind of goes on. Now, there was another, let's see here. Let me just see if I can find it. I'm sure I can. Just give me a second here to find it. Boom, 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 boom. So this is pretty interesting here. All right, well, give me a minute. I'll find it real quick as we do it. But this is the stuff I'm talking about, guys, that we need to, we can't just let this stuff go. Otherwise, we are not going to live. And they just tried to assassinate the president. Now, you could very easily do that to you or me, right? Let me see here. I can pull this up right here quickly, I'm sure. Now, this is pretty interesting right here. Boom. Austin Private Wealth company that reportedly shorted 12 million shares of Donald J. Trump with the filing date of July 12th made a huge bet that Trump's business value would plummet. Guess who this company donates to? Here are just a few from their website. The ACLU, the ADL Austin, Shalom Austin, Jewish Community Center, Camp Young Judea, Congregation Beth Israel, Justin Jewish Academy, Hadassah. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So this is who, and do you think that they had inside information? Seems to me that they probably had inside information. What do you think? Do you think they had inside information? I think they probably had inside information. I certainly think that it's worth investigating. Make sure to follow this guy here, Health Ranger. Health Ranger. He's doing some good work. In 1963, they had full narrative control. Every mistake that was made in the op to kill Kennedy that day. A lot of correlations here between, of course, that Kennedy assassination and the attempted one on Trump. Every mistake they made in the op to kill Kennedy that day, they were able to quickly clean it up, including Oswald getting away and arrested, something that wasn't supposed to happen. They cleaned that up by having Jack Ruby shoot Oswald in the Dallas Police Department basement. The Warren Commission, and Jack Ruby's real name is Jacob Rubenstein. And that was the status quo for 59 years. The Warren Commission then came out with the official narrative, and any challenge to it was instantly dismissed via fake news as bad conspiracy theories. And that was the status quo for 59 years. Now, after this latest assassination attempt on a president, a heck of a lot more things went wrong for them than in Dealey Plaza and in November of 1963. For one thing, the real shooter missed because Trump moved his head during a crucial slow squeeze of the rifle trigger. And the new Oswald they put into place so they could instantly kill him and claim that he was the lone gunman. They're frantically trying to clean up how he got onto the roof, how everybody in security that day knew there was a threat, and nothing was done until after he'd supposedly gotten into position, fired on the president. Trust me on this, they really miss the full narrative control they used to have. They miss it. They really do. They can't control the public's perception of the failed assassination of a past and future president. Their inability to put out unchallenged official narrative is causing all kinds of serious problems for them. And it comes to getting the public to quickly move and drop the issue. As the cover story falls apart, they are having to double down by telling even more fantastic lies about sloped roofs. And now it was the local police department that was in charge of securing the building. Those lies are quickly falling apart, forcing them to give ground even as they launch even more desperate lies. And that's a beautiful thing. It means they're finished. They've lost their amazing ability to cast delusionary spells that most of the public will accept. It's only a matter of time until it's checkmate. He says, it's coming, right? So I am not of the camp that believes everything's going to be okay. It's all supposed to happen. These Q drops, everything like that. I know Q. People don't know Q. Q is an idea. Q's this, that. No, Q is a person. Now, everything that went off and did all that stuff, that is an idea. They jumped on it and they have all their things. But that is a CIA op. That is, don't worry, we have everything under control. Don't worry, guys. It's under control. Everything is under control. Don't worry. It's all part of the plan. Yeah, it is part of the plan. It's part of the intelligence agency's plan to keep you sitting on your butt. And I know, guys, have made a lot of money. Got a nice big following. You get a nice big following if you tell people what they want to hear. Tell them everything's going to be okay. Trump's still president. Well, here we are. Was that part of the plan? July 13th, was that part of the plan? I'll tell you whose part of the plan it was, and that appears to be Austin Financial, Austin Private Wealth. 71% of all the put options on Donald J. Trump in the past 90 days came from one individual fund, Austin Private Wealth. On one day, the day before the assassination attempt. So, 71% of all put options on Donald J. Trump over the last 90 days were on the 12th by this company, Austin Private Wealth, before the assassination attempt. And don't forget, they also shorted 34,000 shares of Rumble. Wow. So, I mean, guys, look, I think you got to, obviously who knows, right? Not financial advice. I don't know. This is for entertainment purposes, all that stuff. It sure looks like they knew, right? Looks like they knew. Those people should be hauled in if we had, but we do not have a functioning FBI. They're more likely to haul me in for talking about it. They would love to do that. They would love to do that. But yeah, their narrative is falling apart. But guys, the narrative falling apart, that's another thing I always kind of tell people. Oh, we're going to expose them. We're going to expose them. Everyone's already exposed, guys. We don't need to be exposing people. We need to be doing something about it. We've got to do something about it, guys. That's the key here. So, Trump, he's really been wowing. I mean, he's really just been killing it at this RNC. It must be something else here. Let me just let's see here. Trump granddaughter. She really gave a nice little thing here, and it's short. I'm going to play it here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kai Madison Trump. I am the granddaughter of Donald Trump. I'm speaking today to share the side of my grandpa that people don't often see. To me, he's just a normal grandpa. He gives us candy and soda when our parents aren't looking. He always wants to know how we're doing in school. When I made the high honor roll, he printed it out to show his friends how proud he was of me. I know. He calls me during the middle of the school day to ask how my golf game is going and tells me all about his. But then I have to remind him that I'm in school and I'll have to call him back later. When we play golf together, if I'm not on his team, he'll try to get inside of my head. I know. And he's always surprised that I don't let him get to me. But I have to remind him I'm a Trump too. Even when he's going through all these court cases, he always asks me how I'm doing. He always encourages me to push myself to be the most successful person I can be. Obviously, he sets the bar pretty high, but who knows, maybe one day I'll catch him. On Saturday, I was shocked when I heard that he has been shot, and I just wanted to know if he was okay. It was heartbreaking that someone would do that to another person. A lot of people have put my grandpa through hell, and he's still standing. Grandpa, you are such an inspiration, and I love you. The media makes my grandpa seem like a different person, but I know him for who he is. He's very caring and loving. He truly wants the best for this country, and he will fight every single day to make America great again. Thank you very much.
They have been killing it. They really have been doing a great job at this RNC convention. Of course, the thing about it, guys, is I always tell you, optimism. Okay, optimism is that's what it's all about. I mean, whether you think you can or you think you can't. You're right. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so if you think you can, then that is really something else. Of course, you have let's see, I think did Vance spoke a little bit. Of course, he gave a shout out to his mama over here. It's always a good look, right? There he is. Vance, the Vance man over here.
And I'm proud to say that tonight my mom is here. 10 years, clean and sober. I love you, Mom.
So J.D. Vance, there's a history there. I guess his father ran out on him. I don't know all the details. And then as well, you have his mom, I guess, she was an addict. And remarkable. It's remarkable. The guy's just under 40 years old. I don't know him. I don't know him very well. I don't know really much about him. There's a lot there. He is the guy that Trump picked, so that's who picked. So here's some more from him last night.
And my community paid the price. Now, I was lucky. Despite the closing factories and the growing addiction in towns like mine, in my life, I had a guardian angel by my side. She was an old woman who could barely walk, but she was tough as nails. I called her Mamaw, the name we hillbillies gave to our grandmothers. Mamaw raised me as my mother struggled with addiction. Mamaw was in so many ways a woman of contradiction. She loved the Lord, ladies and gentlemen. She was a woman of very deep Christian faith. But she also loved the F word. I'm not kidding. She could make a sailor blush. Now, she once told me, when she found out that I was spending too much time with a local kid who was known for dealing drugs, that if I ever hung out with that kid again, she would run him over with her car. That's true. And she said, JD, no one will ever find out about it.
Yeah, I said they killed it. The RNC is killing it right now. Inspirational people. I mean, whether you like the guy or not, or some of the stuff he stands for, that is an inspirational story. And as well, I would tell people that in my 30s, I had a lot of different things that I said and supported that I don't anymore. And in my 20s, it was the same then to my 30s, and my teens to my 20s. And so your view of the world changes the more experience that you get. Your thoughts about things change, they update. We are in very trying times, but the world is looking for leadership. It's desperate for leadership. And right now, the world is betting on Trump. They're just hoping, praying that he can pull it out and live long enough. I don't have the video queued up, but they were talking about how they were going to get him. The government was going to kill. They were going to assassinate him. That was the story that they put out. It was going to happen. Here's an ad that he just put out. This is great. This is great. This is the fresh Trump ad, just came out.
Trump has left the building.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign, securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news out of Palm
The
Beach,
FBI
Florida.
has executed an unprecedented. President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The president has both sides of the political aisle up
Is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
For 7 years, they hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
The first ad right there that came out. Trump, Vance. That's the ticket. Currently, I mean, there's just they're so far ahead. It's unbelievable. So Biden will more than likely drop out. Now he has COVID. He says if his medical condition, he'll drop out. And of course, now he has COVID, so probably he's having COVID. But this Trump. This has captured it has captured a generation, and it will capture generations to come. He's something else. He is forever in the history of the world. We've had JFK was assassinated. Ronald Reagan, I guess when I was a young kid. I don't know if I really remember it, but I remember he was assassinated. I can't really recall when it actually happened. I was a young kid, but they shot him. He was lucky; it hit the car and it ricocheted, and it went in him. He did kind of fall in line after that. I mean, to be totally frank, he did. He was very he had some very staunch stances, and he came off of them after they shot him. So hopefully that's not what we get. I have said anyway, it's just amazing. And speaking of him like capturing the heart, I mean, there's a lot of different even like if you look like overseas here, and I'm gonna play this video. This is pretty funny. Just the even overseas, the Asians. I mean, he's now he dodged a bullet. I mean, he literally dodged a bullet. I mean, hand of God, whatever you want to call it. He he moved his head, and he didn't get hit. And I mean, that is really just, I mean, it's crazy. I'm going to play this video one more time of him dodging this bullet. This is pretty interesting here, how this artist or this computer graphics did this. You can see how it happened. Unbelievable here.
Take a look what happened. Take a look what happened. Take a look
Crazy.
what happened.
Now, of course, there's also a lot of talk. Wow. A lot of talk about multiple shooters and everything else. But I mean, at this point, Trump is like, he is, and there's all kinds of different tokens and everything else like that have started on Trump. One of them is Resistance Trump, dollar re-Trump. And but let me play this video here. This is pretty interesting to do. Here we go. Boom. Look at this. Let's share this. And this is from obviously an Asian person.
我が心と行動に一点の曇りなし。すべてが正義だ。ドジャーンドジャーンドジャーン一体何のつもりなんだ。遺体はこのバレンタインのことを好いてくれて。我が心と行動に一点の曇りなし。すべてが正義だ。ドジャーンドジャーンドジャーン一体何のつもりなんだ。遺体はこのバレンタインのことを好いてくれて。我が心と行動に。
He really has, he's captured the hearts and the minds of people, and this Resistance Trump, re-Trump, on TON. Again, it's the TON blockchain. It's a very small market cap right now. Some of them, I talk about they're different things. Bigger market cap, small market cap, but this one right here, I know the team behind it, and they're working hard. Resistance Trump, RE Trump on TON, and I'll put the contract underneath my post. But that one could be interesting. Not financial advice, all that good stuff I like to talk about. But this guy is inspiring a generation. He's inspiring, and in a time when people need to be inspired, people need that. They need hope. We're taxed into oblivion. We're actually taxed into extinction. And I talk about this a number of times because it's true and people don't really realize it, but we are taxed into extinction. Why do people not have big families anymore? Well, big reason, one of the main reasons they don't have big families is because they don't feel like they can afford a big family. People don't feel like they can afford a big family. They don't feel like they can afford a big family. Why? You're taxed. I mean, I haven't had a job in I don't know how long. Since I was a kid, probably, I guess. But I see other people that have jobs and they have W-2s and everything like that. And, it's crazy. So you must feel it too if you're one of those people. You see on a weekly basis how much is getting taken out. So you're getting taxed about 50% of what you make. Actually, it's way more than 50%. But I say 50% because people can kind of get their head around that because they know that their stub takes about 50% of it. They only take home about 50%. Very smart thing that the government does. It's not even the government. It's the central bank. With a central bank, the Federal Reserve and the IRS were started the same year. So, I mean, they're hands in hands. But they take it out every week or every other week or every month or whatever, so you don't notice. If you had to do it like the rest of us and pay, and even us, if we don't pay quarterly, they fine us. You pay that chunk at the end of the year, my friends, and you say, what in the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? Speaking of that, I'm gonna reach out to my buddy here. I have a friend on X, and he's been hounding me a little bit. I'm gonna get him on the show. He talks about basically shorting the banks. We should all be shorting the banks, but he has an interesting way to do it. So that could be pretty interesting. I'll talk to him. I'll see if I can get him on the show. It's a little bit risky, kind of risque, as I would say, but hey, let's do it. Let's do it, right? Okay, so we have as well. Let's see. We talked about the EU military. Oh, who are they going to replace? Who do you guys think is going to replace old Sleepy? Who's going to replace the old guy? What do you think, huh? Elon has gone full Trump. Elon drive overrides fear. He has gone full Trump. He really has. And as well, the great thing about Elon and what he has done, he's basically, he puts out, let's see here, from Elon. He puts out, let me switch my tab here. Like common sense stuff, like the guy, like I was saying earlier, like they've completely lost the narrative. They can't control the narrative. Like, look at this. Cybertruck has a sloped roof. Just saying. Because the Secret Service comes out and they go, we weren't protecting that roof because it was sloped. I mean, it's like, and everybody would just kind of go along with it. But here we have Elon Musk, and we need to be very careful. We need to make sure we protect these guys because they want to take them out. And Elon puts this out as well. So here's the situation. And he's putting it out there. And of course, they're not showing this on the news. They say the shooter's ladder was here. Oh, Saddam Hussein. And I guess they're calling him Saddam Hussein because, of course, they come out and they say, oh, it was the Iranians. I guess that's why he's doing it. But I mean, much later in the day, only cops here. Dead guy is still censored. Gun is still here. So this is the SWAT ladder, they said. So I'm not sure how that all plays out because I don't know if that ladder was already there or not.
Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American. And you know what? If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this. We will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss. We do not have to be ancient Rome. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We can still be a nation in our ascent, a nation whose best days, not in some fake politician way, but in a true way, a nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us, still on our way to that shining city on a hill, that country where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, or how long your last name is, that you will still get ahead in this country with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will revive this November when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House.
Vivek. And of course, here we have sharing more memes. Secret Service missing the most obvious sniper in history. Drunk MAGA fans spotted him and giving cops his location. I mean, but it's like, yeah, it's like the common sense stuff. It's stuff we're all thinking. And he has, and this is one of the best ones, I thought. The biggest, baddest, highest budget security agency on the planet, a slightly sloped roof. Of course, he's leaving California because of stuff like this. I mean, this guy, he's crazy. In California, he's great. And California's gone nuts. Everybody knows that California's gone nuts. California, I call it California. I used to go out there a few years ago. I had some clients out there. Go out there all the time. I had a great time. But California. He says the governor of California just signed a bill causing massive destruction of parental rights, putting the children at risk of permanent damage. Important. Read this. Well, we're not going to read that, but we'll listen to what he says.
Hey, everybody. It's Mike Schellenberger for Public. I'm afraid I have some terrible news. The governor of America's largest and richest state has just signed a law that puts 10 million children and adolescents in grave danger of medical mistreatment. The media headlines are all wrong. They claim that California Governor Gavin Newsom's new law protects children by stopping public schools from outing their gender to their parents. In fact, it does just the opposite of that. This new law makes children vulnerable to irreversible and lifelong medical abuse and mistreatment. And it's all based on a pseudoscientific idea that some children are born into the wrong bodies and that we can change a person's sex through drugs and surgery. Now, for any of this to make sense, you have to understand what's happening right now in Britain. Several years ago, the government there appointed a well-respected pediatrician named Hilary Cass to investigate whether it was ethical to block the puberty of children, give them opposite sex hormones, and perform surgeries on their bodies in an effort to make them feel better about their gender. Dr. Cass came back a few weeks ago and said, no, absolutely not. Around the same time, the British government banned puberty blockers nationwide. And just a few days ago, the new Labour Party government affirmed that it would maintain the former Conservative government's ban on puberty blockers. In her report, Cass said that so-called social transition, where a children adopts the identity of the opposite sex, is not a neutral act and has psychological consequences. In fact, it's the first step towards medical intervention. What Gavin Newsom has done is actively prevented schools from informing parents that their children have been put on a medical pathway. This is an outrageous attack on both the rights of the children and the parents. Children have a right to go through puberty. No adult should be able to block their puberty. And parents have a right to know if their children thinks that they are the opposite sex or were born into the wrong body. We have seen with leaked internal documents from the leading gender medicine group, WPATH, that these medical interventions, namely puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries, are not only irreversible, but result in sterilization and loss of sexual function. Children and adolescents are simply not mature enough to understand the effects of...
Anyway, you get the picture. It's out of control. And the fact that California would go and do this stuff, I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy town. And for anybody to accept that and think that it's okay, you know, you guys you're in crazy town too. I mean, you know what I mean? Why do you want to do that? They're kids. I just ran across this. This is pretty interesting. Alex Jones called out puppet in the headlights. Liz Churchill, cornered by prominent Liz Churchill, unofficial queen of World Economic Forum, conspiracy theorist Bill Gates' best friend. Ha ha ha. Communism ruins everything, she says. Cornered by prominent U.S. Senator, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle is asked why she wanted President Trump murdered.
All of us were on the call today. Very disappointed. We were all in the queue trying to answer questions, and until we run out of questions, they hadn't. Every one of us had questions that we wanted to ask. We felt we didn't get any of the responses that were necessary from you. Very disappointed in your leadership. I have called for your resignation, and I'd rather you resign tonight or start answering our questions right now.
Now, just to give you again what this is, these are some senators this is the Secret Service director, this woman right here. And I say this all the time because we just have to call it, you know, we have to be very, at this time in history, we can't cover, you know, sugarcoat stuff. You know what I mean? We have to just really put it out there. There's no excuse. I could have done a better job at security than she did. She should absolutely be fired. She should absolutely be investigated, and she should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I think that she probably, it was, I mean, I think most of us think that it was an inside job. There is no excuse. And if the guy didn't show up, for work, then bring him out and let's talk to him. And let's arrest him if he's the one behind it. And she wasn't, okay, but just protecting, then it has to come. It has to come from her. I think they were all in on it personally. And it's a little bit hard to hear this guy, but I'm gonna try to continue playing it. This is them confronting her at the Republican National Convention.
About the death threat to President Trump and allowing him to go on stage in Pennsylvania at a time when he'd already been alerted that there was somebody with as far as all these situations already identified an hour before. And
he just said, you know, to allow Trump to get on stage when this guy with the scope has already been identified an hour before.
You let him go on stage without the knowledge of him, the team on the ground, and you put him within less than an inch of his life. So resignation or full explanation to us right now.
We are trying to get our questions in. He never was running the phone. Another event. The director
We will prove
You
you.
nearly killed. You leave an hour out, you have a suspicious person, and at 5:51, according to the timeline of your deputy, you've identified a potential threat. And then at 5:52, you told, or someone told, that can you give us an explanation? Why would anyone allow the president to go on stage when you know you've got a potential threat and you've got snipers that are trained on it? Why? I don't think that this is a threat at all.
Well,
Yes,
wait, you hung up on. We're here. You set up the meeting, sir. Well, we can find a place to go right now. Where are you going to go?
All right, we try to get this is appropriate.
We'll leave you to that. No, we're going with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Afghanistan veteran.
Trying to get away. We're going with you. Look at her run.
No shame, no concern. You answer anyone? I'm going to tell you that. You answer to us. You answer to us. This is exactly what you're doing today.
This was an assassination attempt. You owe
nothing.
You owe President Trump answers.
Go. To the people of the United States. You're the head of the Secret Service.
You owe answers.
You owe answers to the Senate, to the House, to the President, the past President, and you owe answers to the President. The President should have this to the protection for crying out loud. Just like that.
Unbelievable. Glad they got that on camera. Why are these people above the law? There was just an assassination attempt on the U.S. president. Why does this woman, Kimberly Cheatle, why is she not hauled in to answer? She should be, and why is she still able to be in charge? And what is she hiding? She said, well, this isn't the proper forum to do this. And they're like, well, you hung up on me. You won't answer my calls. Crazy times, guys. Crazy times. So a little bit later today, I am doing we're recording actually a session with some of the Polka Gold team. Polka Gold on Algorand Network, polkagold.tech. And they are doing a Dalgo launch. Dalgo meme token launch tomorrow. Now, in order to participate in this, you have to have some Polka Gold already. So the meme token, the Dalgo meme token, is backed by about $120,000, $100,000 to $120,000 in locked liquidity of the Polka Gold token, and the Polka Gold token is backed by Algorand that's locked as well. It's one of the reasons why I'm a big proponent of Polka Gold, because of that. You can get some Polka Gold. It's on the Algorand network, which is an Italian guy started the Algorand network. I think it's a great network. But Polka Gold is very interesting for those things. It bridges the Algorand community and the Polkadot community. And what they did was they locked the liquidity. So in theory, it could never go to zero, right? Not financial advice and all that good stuff. But now they're launching this Dalgo meme token in the same way. So most of the time when the meme token launches, it launches and then it just kind of floats. You know what I mean? It can go up, it can go down, it can go wherever. Like, or maybe they'll lock some liquidity, but there's so much other liquidity out there that liquidity can still be taken. Now, Dalgo, they're launching this meme token Dalgo tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is, they've locked the Polka Gold in there. So there's a floor. So it's locked in there, and then everybody has to buy their meme tokens. And so I'm pretty optimistic about it. I think I'm definitely gonna grab some. There is a short video from our friends the Next Block, and so I'm going to play that because he talks about step by step how to do it, and I think it's important for you guys to see that. If you haven't had a meme token before, if you haven't participated in one of these launches, I think this one's going to be pretty good. Dalgo launched on Friday. P-Gold, Algo, and DOT communities. There's a few steps you need to take before you can participate. We've laid them out step by step, and this is from our friend over at the Next Block. He does a great job.
This video is brought to you by the Polka Gold community. And on this video, I'll show you how to prepare for the D-Algo launch. An important detail is that the initial liquidity pool will be in P-Gold/D-Algo. In order to participate in the launch, you'll need to have the P-Gold asset, and you'll need to opt in to D-Algo in your Para wallet or D-Fly wallet. D-Algo will also be available on Vestige and Tiny Man exchanges. Now I'll show you how to opt in and trade using Para wallet. So once you have your Para wallet set up and it is loaded with Algo, you're ready to opt in. So we'll start by going to our wallet, clicking the plus symbol. Then we'll find the asset we want to opt into, which is D-Algo, and then click here. And you see, before interacting with an asset, you must opt into it from your account. This prevents unauthorized assets from being sent to you. So we're going to approve this here. You have successfully opted into D-Algo. So the next thing we're going to do is swap in Para wallet for Polka Gold. So we're going to click swap, choose our asset, Polka Gold. We're going to swap 50 Algo. Confirm swap. So we have now completed the swap using Paraswap. The next thing we're going to do is swap for Polka Gold using Vestige. So we're going to click Discover, go to Browser. And I've already saved Vestige on my favorites, but make sure you check the website. Click Vestige. And we're going to connect our wallet. It's going to access the sign in, connect. And it will sign the transaction. All right, we are now signed in. We'll click the button over here and click swap. And then we'll find Polka Gold. And then we'll trade for 50 P-Gold. Confirm all. We have just swapped for 50 P-Gold using Vestige. Then the next thing we're going to do is swap for P-Gold using Tiny Man. And again, I have saved Tiny Man on my favorites. We would then click Tiny Man. We'll connect our wallet. We would then add the Polka Gold asset, and then we'll swap for 50 Polka Gold. Confirm. Confirm all. The swap is completed. We have just swap for Polka Gold using TinyMan. I just showed you how to use ParaWallet to opt in, swap in-app, and trade on Vestige and TinyMan for Polka Gold. Next, I'm going to show you how to do the same on DFly Wallet. So once you have your DFly wallet set up and loaded with Algo, you can now opt in to DAlgo. So first thing you have to do is click the More button. Click More plus Asset, then we'll search for DAlgo. So at the bottom, we're now opted in to DAlgo. So the next thing we're going to do is swap our Algo for Polka Gold. So we're going to click Swap at the bottom and then swap 50 Algo for our P Gold. Swap, swipe to confirm. The swap was successful. So the next thing we're going to do is go to Vestige and swap for P Gold there. So we're going to click Discover, click Vestige. We're going to connect our wallet. We're then going to click Swap, search for P Gold. I'm going to trade 50 Algo for P Gold. Buy P Gold. Confirm. Swap was successful. The final thing we're going to do here is go to TinyMan and swap for P Gold. Go back to Discover, click TinyMan in our favorites. We're going to connect our DFly wallet. Launch. Connect. And we're going to search for P Gold. And then we'll swap 50 Algo for P Gold. Swap. Confirm. Confirm. We have successfully swapped Algo for P Gold using TinyMan. All right, I just showed you how to use DFly to opt in to DAlgo, trade in wallet, and also trade on Vestige and TinyMan for P Gold. You are now ready to participate in the upcoming DAlgo launch. Remember, you need P Gold to participate. See you then.
There you go, guys. So that's a little bit of a tutorial on how to get that. You are going to need some P Gold. You're going to need some Polka Gold in order to participate in it. Oops. And I think it's going to be a fun. I think it's going to be pretty fun. So if you want to participate in that, make sure to get some Polka Gold. Polka Gold, again, that is backed by Algorand with all the liquidity locked. I was just kind of scrolling through here my feed. Of course, the news that the Secret Service knew that the shooter was there is just unbelievable. And you know, guys, we cannot let that go. Yeah, I mean, here another let's see here, share this instead. I mean, more just unbelievable. We can't let this just go in the news cycle. Okay, that's the big takeaway here.
Right now, we're pleased to bring in foreign policy expert, also a former ambassador as well to Germany, Rick Grinnell, senior security analyst, acting director formerly of national intelligence. I mean, you know very well what happened Saturday was too close to call, was too close for this president, was too close to understand all the glaring issues that went down. But Iran, in fact, here now, this is quite alarming here that there is maybe there needs to be more security. There needs to be more attention to Donald Trump because of Soleimani. This has been simmering for quite some time, Ambassador.
Well, look, Donald Trump bankrupted Iran. They had no money.
All right, this is hilarious. So they're going to go after Iran. I'm not even going to, I guess let's go ahead and play this just to watch it. Now, remember, so this financial place, Austin Private Wealth, they're donating to the ADL. Okay, that's not Iran. All right. And by all appearances, anyway, from what I've seen, the boy, I mean, he works for BlackRock. I'm pretty sure he's part of he's Jewish as well. Okay. So the fact that they're turning this to Iran is just really crazy.
And under Joe Biden, this is just the facts. Sorry to tell you, but we have an Iran flushed with cash. And the reason why is Joe Biden did sanctions relief, did credit and cash to that crazy radical Islamic regime. And what did they do with the cash? They started a war on October 7th. They went into Israel and...
So she's talking about the assassination attempt. Well, they're setting it up, and they're turning this. So this is the narrative. Newsmax right here. This is the narrative. Turning it to Iran. Let me just pull up here again. Let me just do those people look Iranian to you? This is the company, obviously, that shorted it big time. Again, that's not proven, but that it's proven that they shorted it majorly. But it's not proven, of course, that they did know something that was involved, as well as the kid. The kid is not Iranian by any stretch of the imagination. Trying to tie this into Iran is just pretty much a big stretch. I guess let's continue to watch that just to see what the narrative is that they're pushing out here.
Started hacking people. We have to be really clear about this. This is now more than 200 days where we have Americans being held captive. And so it doesn't surprise me that the Iranians are mad. They don't want Donald Trump to come back, unlike the Russians and Vladimir Putin have been.
I would actually completely disagree. I think that the Iranians, just like most of the world, want Trump in. Biden is a disaster. I don't see the Iranians expanding their territory, attacking people. This is interesting.
Very clear. We need to keep saying it. Vladimir Putin wants Joe Biden because he says he's predictable and he wants to have a predictable U.S. president.
Yeah, I was at an economic breakfast this morning, which is pretty fascinating. Stephen Moore and others there talking about how, and Governor Doug Burgum, who was on the short VP list, and they said, Donald Trump in a way is a deterrent.
Credible threat.
They look at Donald Trump board leaders and say, if I do something, he's going to, and that was what they were all saying. And they were talking about economic prosperity, unleashing that for Americans, obviously. And the theme tonight will be, I think, a lot of that as well as we look towards JD Vance and his foreign policy. And you are also speaking tonight. We want to make note of that. So I know there'll be a lot of foreign policy heavy looking forward. What would you say the message is for people today as they wake up? Thank God Donald Trump is alive to join. Maybe he'll join tonight, Ambassador. But the world that we live in is a very dangerous place. And, that's just the fact under Joe Biden.
Yeah. Look, I'm still in the angry phase about what happened at Saturday night. We don't need a congressional investigation. We don't need a long time to study this. We need, Bianca, one answer. Why was there no Secret Service coverage on that roof within close proximity to President Trump? That's an easy question. That is a very easy question for us to answer. We need to demand answers. I don't want to see a long, protracted congressional investigation. One more thing. I do have some breaking news, though, right now in my ear, which is that Rick Grenell is calling for Adam Schiff to drop out.
Oh, there you
How
have
about
it.
that?
That's right. I love that breaking
come on,
news.
Adam Schiff, we got to get that in there.
We do have to get it. It was breaking news off the top of the show here. I mean, do you think Joe Biden will be at the top of the ticket now? I guess they're back in their sort of Pelosi's. Yeah.
They got nowhere else to go. I mean, look, the reality is that we can't undermine democracy, to use their term, by all of a sudden negating all of the 50 states and all of the states that have voted for Joe Biden. Democrats had a primary. They voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is their nominee.
So yeah, that is Newsmax. I'll tell you what. That's why I don't watch the news too much. It's crazy. Of course, we had Peter Navarro came out of jail and went straight to the RNC, and there you go. Big bankers were big. This is from my friends over here, the Hodge twins. So big bankers were tipped off that Trump was going to be assassinated. Vanguard, which is Soros, and BlackRock are among the largest holders in Austin private wealth. Oh my gosh. Guys. I hope you're getting it. Iran is like the boogeyman. Who are the actual people behind it? BlackRock, the kid worked for BlackRock. So, wow, I'll repost that. My buddies, the Hodge twins. I like these guys. So Austin private wealth. All right, hold on. Vanguard, Soros, and BlackRock are among the largest holders in Austin private wealth. Unbelievable. Well, look, guys. Sometimes it's hard to face the reality of the situation, and the reality of the situation is that there's no way without help that this guy came out of nowhere and got on the roof and took a shot at him. He was probably a patsy, right? Kind of a decoy set up. They hoped he got the shot, but there's also talk of there were other shots, similar like what they did Kennedy. Everybody knows pretty much. They say the CIA killed Kennedy. The CIA, the Mossad killed Kennedy. Kennedy came out against the U.S. Central Bank. He also wanted APEC. It wasn't called APEC back then, but it's called APEC now. He wanted APEC to register as foreign agents, and the next thing you knew, he was assassinated. So now we have, by appearances, the same group of people behind this, or at least they're behind that. I mean, the kid worked at BlackRock. I didn't work there. He did a video for them. The kid worked. He did a video for BlackRock. But again, like these, BlackRock's one of those places, man. They hire their own. They're not very diverse, I should say. We had to get to the bottom of it. I'm here in Washington, D.C., guys. And, I think that Trump's going to get in, I think, if he can stay alive. And he's going to do a lot of things that you like, and he's going to do a lot of things that you don't like. I can tell you that from his last time in office. There's a lot of things that you like and a lot of things that you don't like. And that's how he's going to roll. But that is pretty interesting. So BlackRock, Vanguard, which is Soros, and BlackRock are among the largest holders. Wow. Largest holders. Yeah, BlackRock. So just like the Federal Reserve is owned by these families. I mean, they all hold, what they do is they hold large parts of other banks that hold the majority of the Federal Reserve, and that's how they do it. It's all like, it's like this roundabout thing. Central bankers are behind it all. And here's what we need to kind of get over with ourselves, guys, is that, and these are the families that own the Federal Reserve right here. I like to put them up every day so that people can know who your overlords are, who is pulling the strings, who controls everything. Why does the Secret Service Kim girl get to walk away, not answer any questions, doesn't get fired? Because these are the guys that run the country. And it looks like they wanted Trump dead. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me, guys. The Rothschild's tax. I got to be able to, I'm going to perform that soon. I'm going to perform it soon. Anyway, these are crazy times, my friends. Crazy times. It has been it's a great show. I love doing it. Hats off to my main man, Fly Mackey, and Smart Money Culture TV. I will be back in a few hours.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized.
Oops.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.